Hey, everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to What the Phuc,
Yeah, we're
episode
episode 17
17. Is
now.
that right, Roberto? I
It's
can't
been
believe
fun.
we made it to episode 17. And I can't believe we had our first legitimate guest
We
last
pre.
time with Joseph from RoboFlow. He's actually the first
Yeah.
person outside our company. And yeah, he was a great guest, and I thank you. And he's got an amazing company, and because of his company, we are basically where we are today. And just to give you an update in terms of like where we kind of left off, this is a reality show about my life, Roberto's life, and also about Phuc Labs and Mass Realty and the crazy kind of startups that we're doing here. But ultimately, it's to inspire the geniuses out there that we believe that genius is
Yeah.
everywhere, but opportunity is not necessarily out there. And if we can give an example, give lessons, give hard, tangible advice. And what better advice than to be in the middle of a fundraise that we're actually in the middle of? Where, let me give you a summary of where we kind of like have the show, where in July 2020, I originally conceived of the idea for essentially what we call the vision valve. So the vision valve is the device where essentially we can sort particles out of water and extract it for valuable materials or clean it or basically digitally filter water and basically do a new way of sorting particles and extracting valuable materials from it. And we built an MVP. It took a while to get the lab data to show it worked. And we had to use RoboFlow. And I had to call my roommate Aaron, and Aaron's here. And Aaron was on the show before, and this is his second time. And Aaron had promised to come back and give an update of our fundraise as we're going through it. So we went through the lab diligence of making sure it worked. We got data, we verified it, we sold some customers, and now we actually got
Yay.
a lead investor.
It's awesome, man.
Hey, yeah, lead investor. That's a big deal. Yeah, so Aaron, can you explain to the audience what a lead investor means?
Lead investor is somebody that raises their hand and says that we want to give you more money than anyone else, and we want to lead this round. And that's a buy signal for other VCs to come in and throw their checks around as well. So you don't always have to have a lead investor, but with what we're trying to do and achieve, it opens a lot of doors to have those firms raise their hand, those influential VC firms that have a lot of know-how, they've done this before, they have a lot of contacts, to have them raise their hand and be all in what you're trying to do. So it's a great achievement to be able to accomplish that. And so we're living proof that uh, it's not always a straight arrow up. There's a lot of ups and downs along the ways, a lot of rejections, but we're there. Knock on wood, and that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, let me give you kind of like a summary of our financials and how we started this. So we basically started this. I had funded this with my own dollars. I'm actually broke, but I put all my money in this because I sold some shares of my old company, 10% of my old company, and I had enough to kind of get going for a couple months and get this project going because I was trying multiple projects, Mass Realty, this project, some other projects, but this was the one that I knew would be the one that I would focus on, and then we focused on it, and we got the first check from P Money. So P Money got the first check, and then we basically fundraised over a course of months and just scrambled money together. First, it was just me, Midnight, and P Money. It was very lean, and then Aaron came, and basically we all kind of worked for no or little money at all, just barely enough. I needed a little bit more because I had to pay my mortgage, and Aaron was gracious enough, and B Money was more flexible, and Midnight and I were the only ones who basically got paid, and essentially, we worked our ass off. We got this lab data. We hired a chemist. Vadara was on the show. We are also hired a badass leader in the engineering team, Rick Fontana, who I'm hoping one day will be on the show. And then basically we scrambled and almost ran out of money many times. we would get 25K checks here, 50K checks here, $100,000 checks here. And ultimately, total, how much did we raise before? Right now, actually, to date, Aaron, how much have we raised so far?
Well, let me piggyback onto that. And so, yes, it was very lean throughout this entire year, and that's scary when you're living month to month per se. And as you started off, or as P Diddy, you started off, we got a few checks from P Money, and then 10K check here. It was just very piecemeal, month to month, and we probably had 40 to 50 investor calls throughout the course of up until we went with the Urban X Accelerator, and we got zero VC funding. What kept us along was angel investors who believed in what we were doing. So as you can tell, month to month, you hire an employee. You don't want that employee have to fire that employee the next, not fire, but have to release them because we don't have any money. So it's a constant shuffle. And the beauty of what we did with the Urban X program and going through that accelerator is we were able to really truncate a lot of what we were doing. We saw the problems with our pitch deck, our delivery. We worked on it, and that's what led us to our demo day in January of 2022, where it all came into a climax. And over the course of the past month, P. Diddy and P. Money, and to some extent myself, have been just hammering out investor meetings. And that's one of the things you probably learned from Joseph at RoboFlow is that's a great way to do it. You create FOMO, you create just people wanting to piggyback on board what you're doing, and you just pack your calendar full of these meetings. And so I have a few stats here that I pulled together, and I would say we did a pretty damn good job because we had about 34 VCs we pitched in the past 2 months or so. That's just a single entity. That doesn't include the amount of meetings, follow-up meetings we had after that, as well as demos and such. Right now, the VCs that we've committed are 9. So 9 of those 34 VCs. So that's a hit rate of roughly 26%. VCs still in the mix that we've talked to are roughly 12. So these are individuals that are doing their due diligence, and they haven't committed capital, but they're very excited about what we're doing. So all in all, that's a hit rate of 66%. So normally, I would say for the normal startup, you're doing lots and lots of calls with a lot lower hit rate. So what we did from September through December, and P. Diddy, you did a great job just practicing the pitch, practicing delivery, being on point with our message, really focusing in on our beachhead, and that stuff paid off. And so I was very impressed to see what our hit rate is right now, because one last stat I have for you, there's tons of VCs out there. Not that many concentrate on software/hardware. 9.3% of all the VCs in the universe, which there's thousands of them, 9.86% are the ones that we were able to focus on that would actually give us the time of day. And through all those stats, we still had a great hit rate. So that's my little soliloquy on where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is those numbers are incredible compared to my career rate, and I want to prove to the audience that we may end up raising quite a bit of money, and we're probably gonna be oversubscribed for our round. But this is the first time ever I was oversubscribed for any round. But my old company, I just found out last week that we just closed Series B. So now my old company, Clinical Research IO, where I was the CEO, co-founder, we made it to the next step to perhaps IPO, and that company doing very well. And I'm still a major shareholder there, and obviously I did quite a bit of work to earn that, and I'm very proud of that. But now we're actually starting this new company, and this new company is catching up to the old company very fast. And I feel like this is a rocket ship that's about to take off. And my old company is about to be a rocket ship that's about to take off too, but in a different way. This rocket ship is going to like the next galaxy. And that other rocket ship is going to Mars. You see what I'm saying? It's a completely different in terms of the fundraise, because I remember very distinctly. Every fundraise for my last company, I would say it was like 1 out of 100. And it was really hard because it just wasn't as compelling as this idea. And also, I think I just want to go through the fundraise process, right? It wasn't easy. It was basically, the way you just kind of think about it is the first person has to be a cowboy. So the first cowboy was P Money. He became one of the co-founders. And then the second cowboy, I'm not sure if you guys know, Aaron, I'm not sure if you know, was an accident. I'll tell you the story. This is a secret story.
Oh, yeah.
So this is why you should listen to this show.
You're going to be quizzed on this, by the way,
on
Aaron.
LinkedIn, randomly. So this is what I'm saying. This is how like you have to start companies. It's not what you think it is. It's not like, oh my god, I'm so smart and like everything happened because I'm just really good pitching and like all these things happen. It's just sometimes accidents happen that lead to accidents, that lead to accidents, that lead to accidents. But the way you do it is you make sure those accidents happen. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is have a really good profile online about who you are and why you should be someone that people want to respect and talk to. So literally on LinkedIn, a kid out of nowhere, his name is Long Jun, right? And he's like, I really like your profile. I think my dad would be interested to talk to you. Okay. So I said, okay, great. And I was trying to this kid. I don't know what it's about. And he basically hooks me up with this guy named Guoc Jin. And Guoc is a Vietnamese businessman who lives in Saigon, who lives in Vietnam, essentially. He grew up in Vietnam. He went to the United States, immigrated like me, became a citizen, went to a college in California. I think it was USC or something like that, or Cal Berkeley or something like that. Was very successful businessman here. Then went back to Vietnam, and then was successful. And I think his son somehow found me on LinkedIn, and I just somehow was presented a good profile, like this podcast maybe, right? Where someone was attracted to my message, to my deeds, to whatever. And then serendipitously, I connected with this person across the world. And Guoc cut a huge check for us. He was the first huge check that we got, because it was me and P Money pitching Guoc how we're young versions of him. All right? That's how you hustle. Like I'm gonna teach you really. And that wasn't very dissimilar to my other ways that we fundraise. So at Up Down, my second startup, I'm not sure if you watched that episode or not, but let me remind you, the reason why we got funding was because my partner, his name was Michael Reich. He was German. And he had gone back, he was a MBA student at Harvard Business School. And we had talked about it during the fall. I think his first year of business school or something like that. And he had gone back on winter break to go for Christmas and, figure out some strategy for us. And I was going to go write some code, and we had all our projects. And serendipitously, he was at a Christmas party or some type of party where he met this guy named Yahim Shas. Yahim Shas was an entrepreneur who thought Michael reminded him of him. And Yahim Shas was becoming the main investor. He cut us $1 million check to start, and then he cut us another $1 million check later, and he was the primary investor because he felt that Michael Reich was a young version of him. So that's literally how you get the first check sometimes. So that's my second company. So this happened on this company as well, right? And then I remind you on my third, on Clinical Research IO, my last company, that check was because there was a Taiwanese businessman who came to the United States. His name was Raymond Chang, and he basically wanted to make a splash. And he saw that, wow, we have the Harvard brand name, we're Asian like him, and it seemed like, we'll be like a good, respectable investment because he's going to spray a bunch of investments to make a scene. So the quality didn't really matter. We just met the bar enough. And we kind of probably reminded him of him, right? Probably, right? And then he cut the check for the same reason. So basically 3 companies, okay? And then the first one, go back to the first one, Crimson Solutions. Remember, we had gone to a business plan contest at MIT, and Zephyr had won first place, and we had won second place along with 4 other companies. And one of the judges, Don Jones, came and said, "Hey, I like your idea. How much do you need?" And we're like, I don't know, $250,000? And like, sure, let's do it. And he put his hand out. He said, let's shake on it. Because he liked our hustle, and we probably reminded him of himself. You see the pattern here, guys? So my first company, Crimson Solutions, was Don Jones. My second company, Up and Down, was Raymond, right? Cut a check because he wanted to make a splash. My third company, so that was my third company. Sorry, that was my second company. Was Up Down, was basically Yahim Shas, not me, but my partner, and literally, this company as well was a Vietnamese entrepreneur. His name is Phuc. Cut a pretty big check, and that lasted us another 6 months. For our first 6 months after P Money put money in. Did you know that, Aaron?
Yeah, I was there. I watched the recordings of the call. So
I was in the backstage.
Cool. No, I wasn't sure if you knew the details of all, like why.
That's pretty cool. I mean, like the guys are like, you remind me of me. You're gonna do well. So here, have the help I didn't have, or like just give you that extra push on that maybe he would have wanted.
Yeah, so sometimes, that's what you need. And those are angels. Yeah. Those are angel investors who are entrepreneurs who see other entrepreneurs that they want to support. And that's one of the things that you have to realize when you're fundraising. I think people are they're barking the wrong tree. Most of them, I was barking the wrong tree. I would go to VCs. I would go to angel groups. I would go to organizations when I should have gone to people. I should have gone to people who looked like me, ahead of me, who wanted to invest in someone who looked like them
something to present,
in their career. And that's advice.
Like you had something to present that was interesting as well.
Sorry?
I mean, you didn't just like show up like, listen, this is, hi, we're the same. Please give me money. You had like a well-structured project, and like you had some backup, and you had you had something to present. Mm-hmm.
Correct, but I literally got P Money because this person literally had my same name as me, and basically would literally invest in himself. Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? I followed my own advice. So P Money was I found him on LinkedIn. So I did the opposite with P Money. I had gone to LinkedIn, and I'd say, hey, I'm tired of being confused with you. Let's connect. Because I saw he was an investor. So the advice I'm giving the audience, I did the same thing. That was my first check.
Yeah, fortunately or fortunately, this world, it is a lot about networking. And if somebody says it's not, it is. It's yes, we have a Harvard degree. That's great. That can open some doors. But a lot of it boils down to your internal Rolodex that you've developed over time. And for somebody that is not gregarious like myself, or P. Diddy back in high school, you self-proclaim yourself as a nerd, but you break out of that because you have to if you want to have successful business relationships and be successful in life. So you can still be an extrovert or introvert and still be successful.
That's like work harder though. That's like the only issue. Like because the networking doesn't come easy to everybody. And it's not only like you were looking like for venture capitalists and everybody, but it's like if different people will get you different places. So that's like the interesting aspect. I remember like same with P Money, and because like I remember like doing the first videos that you were pitching with, and he would send me like these shots of here's some sewage water. Let's put this. You could literally like see like all the lumps of like actual like feces just in the water. I'm like, man, I don't think that's gonna sell. That's not gonna get like the emotion you want here. Like no, but we should put that. And I'm like that's. I'll send you something, and then it was something with like oceans and beautiful clean water. Like yeah, like that. I hope it works.
Yeah.
Like you know what you're doing. Like definitely. And then next week he was sending me like let's put this shot, and it was another one of sewage water being cleaned, showing what the process was and everything. So it was really like. Networking and getting to know the people that would help you out in a way.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the difference was, and I would tell
Yep.
you, I definitely was an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember, I went to an all-boys school. I didn't know how to talk to girls. I didn't know how to talk to people, period. I mean, I only knew 43 kids, same 43 kids every year for
How
6
did we
years.
become friends then?
Because we were
I mean,
forced to.
we were both introverts that kind of had to.
Like your parents
talk to
organized a
each
play
other.
date, and like that was it.
It wasn't because I wanted to be an introvert. It's just, it's hard because you're the only minority. You come to this country, you barely speak the language. You're trying to learn a bunch of stuff. You're catching up. And these people are taller than you. They're smarter. They're faster. They have more connections. The girls like them. They look like each other. It's kind of weird. But then you kind of slowly break out your shell because you want to win. Because I'm competitive. You know me, Aaron. I don't like to lose.
Yeah.
In the NHL hockey, you kick my ass, but I didn't like it.
Like remember those scratches on your car?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, when I visit you guys in Boston, I'm gonna have to bring that, bust that out of storage, and we can play that again one night.
Well, let's play some real like golf or some tennis. We have that tennis match that we have to do. By the way, how's your resveratrol? Did you take your NM and resveratrol and all the stuff I gave you?
So I'll do a little backstory on this. So every year, my high school buddies and myself, we go fly fishing probably in June or July in Colorado. And we have this weight loss challenge because we inevitably get fat over the year, and it's just an endless cycle.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
we're putting money up this year. And so we're all supposed to lose 2% of our weight up until we leave for the trip. So that'll get me from, I weighed myself yesterday, it was 211. Yes, I know, that's a fat
211
thing.
kilos, right?
And so at the end of this, I'll be at 187, which is more a good playing weight for me. So to your point earlier, I'm going to start taking that more religiously now.
Okay, so basically you're using that to cheat in your content.
Either that or get like hepatitis
I'm
on.
using whatever will help me get down. Obviously, I'm going to work out, but yes, I like to.
So the audience knows, but just so I make sure the audience knows what we're talking about. So in an episode, we had talked about some revolutionary technology in terms of life extension, anti-aging, whatever you want to call it, by David Sinclair, Dr. David Sinclair. Dr. David Sinclair is a Harvard professor down the street who basically discovered, along with his other colleagues and other scientists, that your body is essentially a computer. And your computer itself, there are programs that run that are essentially your Wolverine gene that help you repair your body. And they're called sirtuins. Sirtuins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there are 7 of them. And these programs run after 12 hours of not eating. So one of the biggest advices is do not eat breakfast. So Aaron part of what you need to do is skip breakfast.
I've been intermittent.
Because what happens is, let's say you eat dinner at 7.
I love intermittent fasting.
Okay, so it's not even intermittent. It's just like I never ate breakfast in my entire life,
rough,
and I
man.
never had any problems. And the second thing you want to do is just don't, like, let's say it starts running around like 8 o'clock because you ate dinner around 8 o'clock or finished dinner around 8 o'clock. Then let's say you eat lunch at noon. That's only 4 hours of running. If you eat lunch at say 1, that's 5 hours. Eat lunch at 2, that's that's an extra hour. So if you can eat lunch later, great. And if you can skip lunch, it becomes a 24-hour fast. And you're supposed to do 2 or 1 24-hour fast a week. So skip lunch once or twice a week.
Sorry, let me cut you off. So I don't eat after 9 p.m. I usually go to bed at 1 p.m. every night. That's just I'm a night
1 a.m.,
owl.
right?
I don't eat till 6 p.m. the next day. When I'm
Wait,
when
1 a.m.
Yeah,
to
that's
6
yeah, when
p.m.?
I'm in pure weight loss mode.
Damn.
Yeah, because I'm.
Is that before or after this? Is this before? Always?
This is the past. Whenever I'm in just weight loss mode, I just love it. I love challenging myself like that, and I don't get hangry like a lot of people do, meaning their blood sugar gets low or whatever. I just can power through for some reason.
You don't drink anything either?
I mean, it's actually natural, dude. Because think about it, we were cavemen.
I agree.
Who would hunt and find the kill every couple of days, feast because we're so hungry, and maybe save some of it as beef jerky, but basically we were starving half the time, and then we'd like go and feast and basically eat once a day maybe, right? But now we're eating 3 times a day. It's not
Seems so
natural, and for some
logical.
reason, people think it's
I eat
normal,
like
but
5
it's not.
times a day. So it's like it's a different thing. I pass out. Like it's just like I don't know how my body's working right now, but I'm consuming like a lot of energy, and if I don't eat, I feel that I'm eating myself. Like my stomach will start digesting itself.
Get through that first day.
You can still eat, man. Eating is not the problem. It depends on
Yeah.
what you eat. So you can eat small snacks and stuff, and also the calorie restriction is really the key. So calorie restriction, every single scientist, just going back to David Sinclair, I just want to make sure that I give him proper credit for all the stuff he's saying. He's not just talking about he's not talking about calorie restriction only, but that definitely is number 1, right? But sirtuins can also be created and activated by using resveratrol. So resveratrol is the ingredient in the skin of grapes, and it's basically replacing you running a marathon, jumping in a pool of icy water, and stressing yourself because the stressed grapes, right? They're producing basically this ingredient that they crush into a powder. And it's white. It shouldn't be yellow. If it's yellow, it's bad. It's probably not good. And you have to keep it in a cool place. It has to be dry, cool place in the refrigerator. And they'll give you a container sometimes that's very dark. And then you have to put it into yogurt or something fatty. And because it's not soluble, meaning it doesn't go into water easily, but it does absorb into fat. And if you put into yogurt or something fatty, then you can basically increase the absorption by 5 to 10 times. And that will basically start those programs without you running a marathon. It's as if you ran a marathon. It's as if you did an hour of working out. It's as if you did a bunch of stressful things that would activate your Wolverine program, but you need the energy. So the energy comes from NAD. NAD is something that brings your oxygen around your body. It basically gives you energy. But the way you can create it naturally is to have NNM, which is a powder, and this powder is white as well. And you can do it, sublingually, meaning put it under your tongue, or take a pill, or put it into your yogurt. That's fine too, probably. But the idea is NNM is a precursor for NAD, and NAD, you may remember me saying, but NAD is the drip that you can buy after a cruise, after you get all hungover, and you can buy the NAD drips to make yourself feel better. That's NAD, right? NAD is also given to COVID patients. So if you have COVID right now, and you go to the hospital, they will give you an NAD drip. But your body produces NAD naturally. And as a young person, you have a lot of NAD. But as you get older, what happens is your body, the cells, they get old as well, and they become what's called senescent. Senescent cells are cells that can't divide anymore. And when you can't divide anymore, you have to naturally tell your body, don't give me any more NAD. So it secretes something called CD38. And CD38 says, hey, don't give me NAD. But because of CD38 in your bloodstream everywhere, your body naturally produces less NAD. Okay? And because it does that, you age. And the programs that for sirtuins and all those other programs, they don't run so well because your energy's gone down. But how you can increase it is eating N&M. N&M makes NAD back. They've actually had clinical trials come back. The first one was, hey, it's pretty safe. And then the human trials start to come back because the mice trials always prove that it worked in mice, right? The mice that had less NAD, two twin mice, this is David Sinclair's work. The twin mice, he would make one mouse NAD deficient, and that mouse would have gray hair and look old. Same DNA, same everything. They're twins. In another experiment, they would have two mice race. And one mice would have more NAD because they give him N&M. And that mouse would kick butt. Not only kick butt, but would break the treadmill and beat the record for all mice ever tested. As if they were on steroids, which is what I'm trying to say, Aaron, right? It's a natural steroid, N&M, but that steroid gives your body energy to run all the programs it needs, including the sirtuin programs that resveratrol activates. Okay? So those are the two things that David Sinclair has been working on, and that's because he understands these pathways exist in your body naturally. Your body, your epigenome, your body is a machine. It's a living instance that's running, that's evolving, that can change. And your DNA can basically change depending also on your mood and your emotions and how you feel too, guys. So meditation works. I didn't know why. But meditation helps your body heal itself. Because what you're doing is you're turning off the circuits for your vision, for your hearing, for all the things, so that your brain itself, if you think about your brain, guys, your brain can only do two things. It can focus on something like my voice or a show or your kid or something. It could change focus, and it could untie and make a different program run. Right? Those are three things it could do. So think about like everything you do right now. Right now you're focusing on me. Right? But if you close your eyes and meditate and close your eyes and don't think of anything and breathe slowly and go inward, then you shut off everything that you can think about physically outside the universe.
I think your voice
And
is
you
really
start to go to inner
right now.
space.
You're making me meditate.
What's that?
Your voice is
No, you go to inner space, right? And then your computer, you get to run these programs you never ran before that heal your soul. That's how it works, man. You gotta heal your soul. You gotta heal your emotions. You gotta heal your trauma. The only way you can do that is to run the program to heal it. And that's meditation. That's why meditation works. That's the only time where you can shut off everything and give the attention to the emotions and those things that you never want to. Because you have to. Because you
or
meditate.
you just put a Band-Aid over it with alcohol.
There you go.
Sounds very male of you, man.
That seems long enough.
Sounds like it. So you.
Have you guys ever seen
So Aaron.
the documentary Fat, a Documentary? Going off on a tangent subject, but they basically talk about how the American government performed a genocide on the American population by creating the food pyramid back in the 1960s and having all the processed stuff at the top of the pyramid, and all the good stuff like regular fat, all the stuff that your body needs, not being a part of the food pyramid. And so that's why people have gotten smarter over the course of the past X amount of years, but they're just consuming just pure shit. So one of the things with weight loss is definitely stay away from the processed food.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm from Vietnam. We
Even
don't
if you
have
wanted.
processed food when we're growing up, and everyone there is skinny. Seriously, the entire country of Vietnam is just like literally skinny people. And when they come to the
Yeah.
U.S., they gain
No,
a
it's
lot of
bad.
weight.
Yeah.
Because like and there was a price thing as well. I mean, like I remember like
And
in
like, you
Ecuador,
know,
like with $10 worth of like you just show up with $10 and go to a little lady that sells fruit and vegetables, you come back with like a substantial amount of stuff and it's all like grown. Some like it's very very good. Whereas you go to the States and with $10 you can't buy a lot of like there's nothing. What can you afford with $10 worth of fruit and vegetables?
You buy McDonald's
Yeah.
for $10, and that's what families do to feed their family. Is they buy McDonald's instead of going down to the farmer's market and getting
Yeah,
naturally grown
yeah.
foods.
Well, they put it like that got really expensive though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's by
Yeah.
design too.
anyway, my heater's on, so I'm gonna have this on and off. So if you hear the heater, that's a noise. But yeah, just I want to just wrap up the David Sinclair. So David Sinclair is a genius. So Aaron, so you should definitely do it. Have you been taking it for a while? How long have you
I've
been
been
taking
taking
it?
for about. I've been taking the two that you just spoke of. The other one is prescription that I haven't been able to get. So I've been taking it
The
for the
metformin, right?
past 2 months, I'd say.
Okay. Did you notice anything? So let me finish the metformin, and then you tell me the results of the NNM and resveratrol that you
Yeah.
are taking. That you should be taking for 2 months. I've been taking it for I think 6 months or something like that, 5 months.
How do you feel?
And like it's been working pretty well. And the metformin is the final one that David Sinclair has talked about. And basically, what metformin does, think of your computer as having a fan with metformin. Metformin is your fan that lets you cool your computer and keep the heat levels even. So it keeps you insulin sensitive, and it makes it so that you don't have glucose shock. So your blood levels don't go up and down in terms of your blood sugar levels. It prevents diabetes. If you look at the data, there was a bunch of data, but a famous one is 50,000 people who took it who have diabetes are healthier than healthy people who don't take it. So right, so and when you take it, Aaron, you're gonna lose about 5 pounds. So it's good that you haven't taken it
Yeah.
yet.
Like like the final
So
stretch.
when you do take it, what happens? You want to use 1
You
gram.
gotta see-
Of all 3 of them, you want to use 1
I don't know
gram.
how to get it.
I'll give it to you, man, if you need it. Or just go to your doctor and say, hey,
I
look,
know a guy
I
that
want
knows
to
a
take
guy.
this, and just send
I
them
don't have a
the
doctor.
data.
I don't think I've been to.
You're gonna get healthcare. We're gonna get healthcare very soon with this whole Phuc Labs thing. So you bet that's your first appointment. Okay, just do a virtual appointment. I guarantee you they'll give it to you. Trust me, it's very common. It's only 5 cents a pill, so your insurance company's not gonna care.
It's pretty good.
Right? It's like 5 cents a pill. That's what 30 days is what
Yeah, it's a
150.
lot cheaper.
$2
There's
a
a lot of
month.
stuff out there.
Yeah, so those 3 things. But essentially, if you actually look at the price on Amazon and buy this, which I bought, it's basically $1 a day for resveratrol, which is 1 gram, $1 a gram, $1 a day for NNM powder, which is 1 gram as well, $1 a day, no, 50 cents a day for metformin, which is prescription only, but you can call your doctor and I'm sure they'll give it to you, but 1 gram of that as well. But when you do the metformin, it's best to, if you want to not have diarrhea and basically, have the runs, which is okay for me because I have, I'm lactose intolerant, so when I eat pizza, I'm going to have to have the runs
Good
anyway, so
times.
I'm used to it. So I just went for
But
it.
losing weight, man.
So, but if you want to avoid that, just slowly go up from one, like from a quarter gram to half a gram to your 0.75 grams to 1 gram, and then you avoid that.
Like all of these things are over the counter stuff. Like they're
So
all over the
that's
counter. Over the
official
counter.
advice.
Like you can just go ask
What's
for it
that?
except that one thing. Like well, let's so we can put it on.
Yeah, so if you want to, just go to Amazon. You go to
Okay.
a couple companies. The one I go to is DoNotAge.com. There's plenty of other ones where you can buy, but make sure you get lab certified if you can, so it's pure. You want to avoid things that have heavy metals that can be not so good for you. So I wouldn't want to have you drink something that has heavy metals, and then all of a sudden you have lead poisoning. And like, okay,
Yes.
that's not so good. I mean, I might have had this benefit, but I also killed
Like
myself.
I was younger, but I
Yeah,
lived
with
less.
mercury or whatever heavy metals are in there. So you want to make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure you do the resveratrol on something fatty, otherwise it's not going to really work that well. So don't waste your time, doing it wrong. And then when you do it, it does help you, but also it helps you in a way where you may be a little bit weaker. So when you exercise first, and then do the metformin, because the metformin is going to reduce your glucose and reduce your energy and all that stuff. So there's some timing for those who like to work out, who are athletic. So be careful for those who do that. But what I typically do personally is I just don't eat breakfast, but I have a low yogurt with three spoons, which is
You
what
said
David
you're
Sinclair also
lactose
does
intolerant.
in the morning. That's it. But no, I'm lactose intolerant means like just a little bit here and there, but not really with yogurt. Mostly with pizza and
It's
cheese.
interesting how the body changes. They say it cycles every 7 years or so. So I never had allergies up till about 2 years ago. And now in the springtime, I sometimes have allergies. And I've definitely noticed when I eat cheese recently, my stomach rumbles a little bit.
Yeah. But you can also use olive oil. That's fatty too, and just use it, with some bread or something. Olive oil. So anything fatty. But yeah, I mean, I think as you age, I was allergic to cherries at 29, and I love cherries, man.
Yeah.
I miss cherries so much.
All right, so give us
Oh,
a
man, cherry.
dissertation. You've been doing it for 6 months. Give us the top 5 things that have, or just give us the
How do you
feedback
feel?
of what you felt, weight loss, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so this is the best part of the show when we talk. Let's go back to financing a little bit later. We'll end the show with the financing in terms of the next steps and how we're gonna do that. But the halftime show is we basically are winning.
Now, the stuff
Okay,
about the body
so
is really fascinating to me, and financing is great, but this stuff actually, it makes sense to my mind. Like you said, and I've studied this quite a bit, your body ate something when you could hunt it. So you were never meant to eat something 5 times a day. And so that's why intermittent fasting meant so much to me. I was like, that's smart. But go on with your dissertation.
okay, so let's start here. Let's start with where I started. So in high school, I was a high school wrestler. I was a varsity team. I was really good. And every year, in my off season, I would be 145, roughish, like low 140s, 140 something, and I would wrestle at 135. This is probably like junior year, sophomore, and I think in my final senior year, I was 140. I went to the 140 weight class, and I was probably living in the high
135
140s, or mid
pounds?
140s,
That's crazy.
something like that.
I think I was like born at
Yeah,
135.
I'm 5'7". No, but like that's like Bruce Lee, man, because I was Bruce Lee. Literally, I actually, if I take off my shirt right now, I would look like very close
Let's
to what
keep
I
that
was
for the
because I'm
OnlyFans account.
155
We're
now.
gonna come up with that later.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
well,
You have to,
those who
leave
donate,
your email
have
there.
to, members only, right? Those who invest will have a special calendar made of the men of Phuc Labs. You do know what Phuc Labs is actually really a front for, right?
So you know where the money's going.
It's like a
I don't think
Chippendales.
the woke,
It's like a
I don't think
Chippendales
the
front.
woke police is going to love that.
Okay. Well, anyway, so when I would diet, I would not eat for like 2-3 days. That was fine because it's like intermittent fasting, and I thought that was really bad for me. I was like, oh, this is gonna stop my growth. It didn't really stop my growth. I think I was fine, and actually in college, after college, I was probably 150 something. So now I'm back to after college, early mid 20s weight. But the journey was metformin. For the first, I would say, month, I lost 5 pounds. So I think I started 185, right? And that was like a year ago, or something, 9 months ago, something like that. So literally, like I lost like
Wait,
30
what were
pounds.
you, 185? You
Yeah.
fat bastard.
Yes, I was because I was drinking a lot of shit. But also, but that was up and down. Like I was actually 170, but I never cracked 160 for a long time. Literally, I think the last time I was 160 was 2015, something like that, before my last company. Because when you have companies, it's like having a baby, you get baby fat, but you're not a woman. You're just an entrepreneur, but like, you just get this, you get lazy, and it's your fault really, because you should probably be working out, but the stress and all that, the
It's
drinking,
always
really.
socializing. Everything is done like around food
So
and
I got rid of
beverages.
drinking.
So like, you want to go talk? Yeah.
Yeah, because a glass of wine is like what? Glass of wine is 300 calories. A bottle of wine is like 800, 900 calories, and you have like a bottle of wine a day, and that's like 5, 10.
150.
83
like
calories
this,
for 100
gonna
grams of
be
wine.
Probably 250. How much?
I looked it up, dude. A bottle of wine 700 calories.
Bob.
If you drink a bottle a day, which I was, that's like 4,000 or 5,000 calories. That's 2 pounds.
It's
of
just like
drinking
drinking
a
a Coke every day, which most of America does. I mean, that's or 3 Cokes.
Oh, you're throwing in. It's
whatever.
like having in an extra
That's
meal of like
100 calories.
bad calories.
Yeah.
Right. So so for a couple of years, I think part of it was also I started eating breakfast for the last like 10 years before I started this change, because I thought breakfast was someone said, hey, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because if you don't eat breakfast, then your body's gonna burn all blah blah blah
Yeah, the
bullshit.
cereal
And this is like
companies
real
did that.
scientists from like freaking good universities. They're saying all these other things are completely wrong. So I started eating breakfast. I gained a bunch of pounds. I didn't know why. I thought it was the drinking too. So the combination of drinking and eating breakfast brought me to
That's the
185.
cereal companies back in the 60s. They funded all the government people that said that the food pyramid was a good thing. That's basically what
It's not even government people. These are like legit
You're bashing
scientists
Tony the
they
Tiger?
were.
who just continued the narrative.
Yes, they were getting funded by the cereal people and the government. So
Manipulated by Melvin?
they were scienced.
But anyway, the calorie restriction, and it was natural for me because I just went back to not eating breakfast, which I was doing for a long time, right? And I was like, okay, lunch, I'm okay because I'm just gonna feast like a mofo at dinner because I eat dessert. I sometimes I even have a glass of wine or so, and like a beer. I don't care. Like maybe tonight I'll have a good beer because my friend's coming over. Because when I have guests, maybe I'll do it. I just never do it. Like before I would do it alone or with my family. I wouldn't do that anymore. I would do when we go out and all that. So, and then you could just feast as much as you can because ultimately, it's not what you eat; it's when you eat. That's David Sinclair's thing too, which is, that works. Literally, I eat as much as I want, but the thing is, with the N&M, if I eat it in the morning with the yogurt, let's say 5, 7 in the morning, whatever it is, 9 in the morning, whatever I eat it, the N&M energy carries me through the whole day, right? Because I'm having with the the yogurt, which is like it's kind of like good liquidy and all that. So liquids really don't really hurt you too much. And then sometimes I even have snacks like peanuts, crackers, even like freaking candy bars during the day. That's fine too. Recently, once I got that sirtuin train going, because you get that cruise ship going, and you just rest on that cruise ship for the rest of the time. Because for me, it's easy. I don't even think about it right now. For me, it's a lifestyle change that's permanent. That's what you need to do. I don't even work out. Here's my workout. I'll show you I don't do any cardio. I'll show you my workout. Right. This I haven't told you this, Roberto. It's kind of weird. So what I do is I wake up in the morning.
Okay.
And I do my core exercises. So basically, I do these hip thrusts, sideways. Then I open my legs. Then I move my legs. And basically, sometimes I pretend I'm swimming and shit. I put my music on, and I just close my eyes. It's like a form of yoga, where you're just in your bed, just stretching out. And then what you do is you just feel for the edges of your joystick. Like, for example, like there's your arm, like you go all the way back, like here. No, because then all those pain points, right?
Your joystick.
I'm alone in my bed.
Go ahead.
For example, if you lie on your stomach, right? If you lie on your stomach, trust me, do this tonight. Lie on your stomach. Put your legs up, and just wag your legs left and right. Just do that, and it'll feel like someone's massaging you. It's fantastic. Like someone's massaging your back. Because literally what you're doing is you're twisting your body like a cork, and that torque is your core. Okay? So like I'm not running, I'm not doing anything. I'm just thrusting my hips. You can pretend you're thrusting your pillow if you want, right? Or and then you have these flexors where you open your legs, like scissors, right? You close them, and then you move your legs, you kick your legs out, and in like a circle, and you try to basically stretch it all the way to the edges of what you can. And holy shit, dude! At the beginning of this, right, when I was trying to touch my toes in the shower, I could barely get to like the top of my feet. Then I was able to touch my toes. Then now I'm almost able to touch my palms on the freaking floor. I'm so flexible, and that's a combination of the flexibility plus all this stuff, because I believe what it does, it activates also some part of your body that says, hey, this part of your body, pay attention to it, because I can feel it now because I stretched there, and like I never felt that part of my body until I stretched there. And then all of a sudden, all these things that were painful went away. I don't go to massages, I don't do anything. I also do the steam room sometimes. And steam room is actually very good for you, or sauna, because heat, the difference in heat and stuff, that'll help your body almost loosen like your fat. It's like you have this fat in your body, and your fat melts, and then unmelts and melts and unmelts. It basically just kind of gives you like a little loosening of your collagen, right? And then your body can collect that fat easier, and that's why you can lose weight a little bit faster too. So I also do the steam room, and you can buy this portable steam room. It's like a tent. I think my brother bought it. It's like a 3x3 by like I think like 8. It has a light at the top, and has something on the outside that looks almost like a rice cooker. You put water in it, and then there's a little pipe that goes into the tent, and you can unzip the tent to get in. And there's a chair, like almost like a beach chair. It's like it's like one of those beach chairs, and you can put a towel there. You can sit there, and there's a little like light and everything, and you listen to like a podcast. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That's all you need, and that's all I did. I lost 30 pounds.
Did you keep it off? Like
Literally, that yoga, steam room,
is the weight
and
still
those things
off, or
I
is
told
it
you.
just,
That's
like,
it.
water weight
And
that
then
you lose?
calorie restriction.
Like, is it still? Did you lose your 30
What's
pounds
that?
like for good?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you, my muscles. Like next time I don't have a sweater, but literally I have a 6-pack now almost.
Yeah, the water weight is usually if you're yo-yoing like 5 to 8 pounds. That's the water weight. But when you're up 30 pounds, that's a
Like
lot
the
of
real weight.
fat.
No, but I understand what you're trying to say, Roberto. Did I lose my muscle or did I lose fat? I definitely lost only fat because I'm like totally like muscular. I'm like lean. And like when I ask my kids from 1 to 10 how did I look, they would say like 8. Even my wife would say 8. And like that's pretty damn good compared to before, because they would say how was I, and they're like, oh, you're like a 4. For real, they're very honest, right? So I was really fat, and so like I really doubled. I went from a 4 to an 8, so that's pretty damn good. And like I could probably get a little better too, like with a little bit more time. So I think, Aaron, if you have that challenge, I just gave you the recipe, man, that I just did.
You know what I've
exactly.
been-
So the steam room for sure.
I like it. Does hot tub work? No, but you know what I've been
Hot tub's fine too, because again, you want to have your heat, and then your cold, and then because you're breaking up the collagen.
Yeah, I got that hot tub. So, but what I've been doing every winter, or actually this winter, is my kid's been sleeping in the bed with my wife. So I go to another room. I close off all the heat, and I keep it locked all day. I have a thermometer in there. It's 53 degrees. I love sleeping in 53-degree weather.
Man, what's
Like, I just love that.
That's actually scientifically correct, because what happens is when you sleep in the cold, your body's supposed to have that stress that the resveratrol can actually give you
just so
without
everybody
having
knows,
to do that.
53 degrees Fahrenheit is 11.6 Celsius in the real world.
Yeah. But
Yeah, and if you really want to do that, Aaron,
you're burning so many calories to keep yourself warm. I mean, 53 is not like it's 32 degrees or anything, but it's still pretty effing
Yeah,
cold.
especially if what you're looking for is a contrast, anyways. Like if you go from a hot place to like anywhere that's like 11 degrees, it's definitely gonna hit you.
Yeah.
okay, so since you've taken for how long? 2 months? Have you lost any weight? Have you noticed any difference in your body or
Um,
anything with the resveratrol and them
so
only? Because I'm curious to know.
I just blew up in the past because I went to the Keys, Florida, with my buddies. So it starts now. It's on now. I was just maintaining for the past 2 months, basically.
Wait, so you didn't take it religiously every day? You're saying?
I took it most mornings, yeah.
So you did take it consistently for 2 months, right?
More like a month, I'd say.
Okay. Have you been counting your hairs, your gray hairs? Like I asked you
You
to.
had homework, man. You
I
haven't.
still have a lot of gray hairs, so that hasn't changed. But I think I need to
Okay.
do what you're talking about. So let us know exactly what happened with you after the weight loss. Like, did you have a clearer mind? Did you get black hairs? What's going on?
So that's why I asked you about the gray hair because
Oh.
my gray hair went
That's
away.
crazy.
So if you look at my hair right now, you guys can see, right? I have very low gray hair. But when my mom actually cuts my hair. When my mom would cut my hair, I would see the hair, and she would say, "You have a shitload of gray hair." And then she noticed, and she said to me, "What happened to your
I'm
gray
dying
hair?"
now, Mom. Thank
That's
you for
cool.
pointing it out. No.
You're dyeing it right now, Roberto?
Fine.
No, I'm saying I don't need to dye it because look I have a high hairline. I've always had that since high school. It has nothing. I don't have hair loss or anything, but literally my skin, it feels better, man. I look at my skin, it looks better. Okay, it's just the weight loss in general helps
Oh,
your
yeah,
body.
for sure.
Period. But I believe that was definitely calorie restrictions. Number one, do not drink alcohol, obviously, and Coca-Cola. That's also whatever, right? I would say number two would be the yoga and the exercise. Okay, for sure. Then number three would be metformin. And then the other two things after that, I would say scientifically, in that order, if you want to try it and prove this works for you, I would try it in that
Yeah.
order.
No, I'm all in. So
How much time do you have?
I guess we'll do this podcast again in 5 months or 6 months, and we'll see. Have a picture of myself now with my double chin, and hopefully the double chin won't be there.
How much time you have until the meetup?
Okay, so
It's
here's what we need to
6
do.
Okay,
months,
cool.
I think.
So
yeah.
so Aaron, remember how I said we want to make you the scorekeeper for Phuc Labs?
Yep.
I want you to be the scorekeeper for your own health experiment.
Yeah,
As well.
it's already in the
Cool.
works.
Okay, so far,
I'm
Phuc
drinking
Labs.
They're like, drink, cheers
make
to
zero-
that.
we just going back to. I want to close out the show because
Yep.
the show's almost up to an hour, and the last show was a little bit longer, and I want to make sure we stay around an hour to be respectful of your time, but also make sure that we stay around the hour mark, but maybe go longer for external guests who we have one time. But I wanted to close out the whole financing thing, right? So, in terms of where you think we are at halftime, what do we need to do? What's left to do? How long is it left in terms of until we get the check in the bank? Everything's all closed. And what do you think we need to do remaining to make all that happen smoothly?
I think we're more than halfway done. I mean, the biggest lift was UNP money. Once again, a little bit myself, just doing those pitches left and right. I was behind the scenes answering the questions, getting that part done because every investor is going to do their due diligence and see what we're all about. But they want to know the founder, and that's you. So kudos to you for doing that. So it is us creating another scorecard because we're in a tremendous position where we can pick and choose to some extent who we want to invest with us. And a lot of these VCs, at the end of the day, they're going to come back to us with what they provide us. as far as commercial connections, industries, whatever their core competency, we have to weigh that in to determine if we want to accept that check. Once again, it's a rarity, not a rarity, but it's great that we have multiple people raising their hands that they want to be leads. So the time frame now, hopefully money will be in the bank by mid-March, I want to say. And then the beauty of that is we can focus on the work. I mean, we've been dealing with finances since I came on board. I mean, December of 2020. So each month is a constant headache in order to pay the bills. And so it'll be good to have leeway where we don't have to worry about paying the bills. And so that's what I'm most excited about. Obviously, me being a meticulous, anal individual, I'm always going to be worried about the books, but psyched that we at least can start concentrating full time on the work. Get P. Diddy focused on the work so he's not having to deal with the finances, which you never want your founder just constantly worried about the finances or dealing with investors. So I think it's a win-win at the midpoint of March, heads down, and we'll hopefully be producing some really cool shit. That's my soliloquy again.
That's awesome, man. Well put. And like, we're gonna produce some awesome shit. And so I'm gonna have you back. When do you want me back? After March? Or you want to give a scorecard before we close, and then maybe one after we close, or you want to just just after we close?
Do it, either end of March. I think is a good time where the money should be in the bank.
Awesome.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. So how about this? Well, if we have something exciting coming on, I'll bring you back. Otherwise, I'll bring you back after the money's in the bank.
Yeah. Although we spent
Cool.
about 20 minutes talking about finance and 40 minutes talking about
health, man. It's important.
weight loss. But I love.
How this? We'll have you back. I'll have you back, okay? But we're gonna talk next time. Dive deeper into okay. Now, once you have the cowboy, once you have the what was the next thing that happened? How do you stack that? How do you get that to get to the next big check, to the next big check, and then also how do we get this lead? Right? We didn't talk about how we got the lead. We just said we got it. Right? How do we get? So maybe you come back, give a little bit more color.
Sure.
Okay. And I know we talked about this health thing, which is kind of actually very interesting because I didn't know you were in this contest, and I want to make sure you
love
kick
it.
ass.
I love the health aspect of it. Once again, it just makes sense to me. Finance, obviously, it's fun to talk about with startups and entrepreneurs, but it's just like, I want to say health is kind of like rehab, where you can throw somebody in rehab, but if they don't want to do it, you're just wasting your time. So you got to have that switch that clicks in order to make that happen. So,
I feel like sometimes the issue is like it gets a bit late because when that switch clicks, it's because your body just did something you didn't want it to do.
Yeah, probably got
exactly. Like,
cancer,
I'm gonna change now. Like, buddy, like it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
But anyway,
Sure.
I want to make sure I also close out the show in terms of your assignment as well. Okay, before I forget. So as a scorekeeper, can you next time come back and say maybe not just the total number of VCs who said no,
Ooh.
but maybe why they said no, and also the ones who said no and why they say no. When we do prove them wrong, if we do prove them wrong, or maybe we don't, I don't know. Hopefully we prove them wrong. When do we prove them wrong? Maybe we can have like, hey, this is a moment where someone said this, and this is what we proved. Or maybe, not worry about it, but I just want to show you, like, hey, look, there's so many conflicting reasons where one person says, hey, I think your market is too small. And then the other person says, I love your market, but I don't think, this is a good strategy. Right? And the other person say, oh, I love that strategy. Why aren't you doing that strategy? and then you're like, oh my god, which one should I pick? And then ultimately, it's almost like speed dating.
Yep.
I realize
Yeah.
where like like sometimes it's not a good fit because you just don't like the TV shows that she likes or he likes or whatever it is, or the same things. It's just not
It's
compatible.
different strokes for different folks, and you said it early on, and I got pissed when a buddy of mine who worked for a big VC fund passed on us. I wasn't pissed, but I definitely gave him a little email. At the end of the day, you just move on, and that's the beauty of what you guys did the past 2 months is you just move on to the next call. If you have a bad call, you move on. There's more suitors, like you said, it's speed dating, but we can get into it more.
Yeah, for
next
sure.
call.
Man, we can even call them live on the show.
I know your stress level, Aaron. Aaron, your stress level was at least like 9 for at least a year, right?
Stress?
Financial, because of our financial
well,
situation.
That's always stressful. Me as an individual, I'm a reptile. I don't get too stressed. That's why I was a good baseball player, because I don't care when I strike out. But when it comes to finances, and it's more about making sure that everyone is paid. The employees that are working hard for you, and that always stresses me out.
As it should, man, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like 9, right? So now we're gonna get to
Yeah.
the point where it's gonna go a little bit down, and so I thank you for being patient, and I thank you for being one of the superheroes on our team. And I forgot to ask you in the first episode. Did I ask you which superhero you were? And I think you said the Hulk, right? One time. I just want to confirm it.
Oh, my kid likes Spider-Man right now.
Because of the movie.
Oh, Spider-Man.
I
Okay.
don't know what superhero was. You never asked me that, but
I think I did. I think you were supposed to think about it.
So what's up?
I don't want to be a big green Hulk. Probably the Flash. I was fast in high school. We'll call that a day. I'm the Flash.
Okay, you're gonna be the Flash. So you're the Flash. So the Flash. The reason why I want to have you come back often, Flash, is I want to have the show be a reality show where we have like these side kind of chapters of the Flash and your journey through Phuc Labs, you know, and working here, and your evolution in your career, because you're a genius who, you know, given this opportunity, I know you're gonna flower and become one of the best business minds.
Well, we'll do it as a team.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
can
take
help us.
compliments well, but I'll have to think about the Flash. I don't want to be known as the Flash.
Well, while you verify with your kid, make sure that you don't want Spider-Man instead or something like that. Oh, I think someone wants Spider-Man, so you better fight for it first. You get to whoever goes in the show gets to do the draft pick first.
No one's gonna take the
But
Flash,
Vadareth,
so
Dr.
I'll just
Strange.
take that for now, but it'll probably you got to think of some obscure.
There's so many
guy,
of them.
like a Boba Fett or something.
I'm Iron Man, so you can't be Iron Man.
I like it.
Cool.
Because I told my kids that the only person you can really be is Iron Man in real life, because he's a scientist and he
can be
made
Batman.
wealthy because of science, and then made himself a suit with AI and all that crazy
You can
stuff.
be
that we're
Batman, no
gonna do.
problem.
We're actually going to create some really funky stuff here at Phuc Labs. I have some crazy ideas that aren't so crazy because I know they work. I've told you some ideas, right, Aaron?
we'll get there. We will get there.
Ideas we haven't talked about.
I want that profitability. I want to get to profitability.
Okay, Flash, we'll get there as soon as we can. So thank you, Phucsters, for listening in, the three of you. I think there's 4 now. I saw 4 views from the last episode, like, immediately.
That's awesome.
So I think there's 4 super fans.
We do this for you.
You 4 super fans, and new Phucsters who hopefully will join one day when we actually make it, and we're not some random dudes just talking on a Wednesday.
My pleasure, man. This is
Thank
fun.
you, Roberto, for doing this show, and Aaron for
Who's
working
your
with us.
superhero, Roberto?
And thank you for this for. Any last words, Aaron?
No, who's your superhero,
Me?
Roberto?
I'll think about it, but I would say like something like Deadpool. It's just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I thought we had discussed it already. I thought we had talked.
haven't
I
been
guess we
asked.
must have talked about it in many meetings, and not on the podcast itself. So it's my fault But thank you for asking, Aaron.
Thank you.
You're much more polite
No,
than I am.
Deadpool is a good choice. I just watched it the other day.
You know, you should do something like more like I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's a
Is
bunch of
anything
them.
like
I
Latino?
just like these, more into like the mutants and everything. But man, like we can leave that. I'll think about it for the next show if you want. Like for episode 18.
Wasn't that some like
There's
Amazonian
I
kind of like,
think like the new.
like the beast or something like the
That's
one that was in
Wonder Woman.
Amazon? What's that one, right? No, there's like that's almost like a line thing. That's like a Marvel one. Anyway,
For sure.
there's so many characters you can pick from. You can pick Black Panther. It's not bad.
You have
You
to
don't have to be
now. It's like no choice. We're gonna get some hate mail.
That's true. You can be, you can be,
I'm actually like Deadpool.
What do you
He's just
like?
a funny asshole.
in terms of like a secret, like a superpower.
Deadpool, yeah.
Who? Deadpool.
Yeah, I think that was a good.
So
I've
you're
sort
a
of
funny
been
asshole.
told.
You're saying,
Yes, I will.
and you refuse to die, like the show right now.
Exactly.
Like the show refuses to die right now. Okay, so we'll have to let them go. Deadpool. Thanks so much, Fuxers, and I will
a
be
good
out.
night.
We'll come back
Take
episode
care.
18.
Thanks, guys.